こんにちは、キムテイです。皆さんは元気ですか？私は元気ですよ。This is the 19th lesson for learning Japanese from scratch. In this lesson, we're going to learn about the negative state of being. To quickly review, a state of being describes what something or someone is. As we saw previously, in Japanese, the state of being is not a separate verb, but is implied in the noun or adjective itself. So without a separate verb, how do we say the negative? For example, if you have sentences such as I'm well or that's good, how do we say the opposite? In this case, I'm not well or that's not good. Because the state of being is not a separate verb and is implied by the noun or adjective, we need to conjugate the noun or adjective itself to the negative form. There are two conjugation rules we need to learn. The first is for either nouns or na-adjectives, and the other is just for e-adjectives. Negating a noun or na-adjective is very simple. You simply need to attach janai to the end of the word. Let's take a look at two examples, genki and koko. If we append janai to the end of both words, we end up with genki janai and koko janai. The resulting sentences become genki janai, which means someone is not well, and koko janai, which means something or someone is not here. The conjugation rule for e-adjectives is a bit more complicated. As we learned previously, all e-adjectives end with an e. In order to negate it, we must first remove the last e and replace it with kunai. Let's try it with two adjectives, atarashi, which means new, and kawaii, which means cute. So first we want to strip out the last e as shown here. Next, we replace it with kunai. So we end up with atarashikunai and kawaiikunai. The resulting sentences become atarashikunai, which means something is not new, and kawaiikunai, which means something or someone is not cute. There are two exceptions to the e-adjective rule we just learned. The first word is e, which means good, and the second is kakoi, which means cool or handsome. You see, the word for good was originally yoi, but now it's more common to just say e. However, most conjugations for the word still uses yoi, so we first need to change e to yoi before conjugating to the negative. Kakoi is the same because it's actually two words, kakko, which means appearance, and e, shortened to just one word, so the conjugation is the same. So the rule is to first change e to yoi, then remove the last e and replace it with kunai. So here's the e highlighted in red, which we replace with yoi. Now we can apply the same rules from before by dropping the last e and replacing it with kunai. So we finally end up with yokunai, which means not good, and kakkoyokunai, which means not cool or handsome. Here's a quick example dialogue with some examples of the negative form. 今日の天気は良くないね。明日は大丈夫じゃない？明日は雨だよ。今日の天気は良くないね。明日は大丈夫じゃない？明日は雨だよ。今日の天気は良くないね。明日は大丈夫じゃない？明日は雨だよ。Now, remember that we also need to learn a different set of rules for the polite form when you need to be more polite. Fortunately, the rule for the polite form is not difficult. Simply conjugate to the negative form using the rules we just learned and then attach des to the end result. Now, while this form is polite, it is used more for conversational Japanese compared to other forms such as jarimasen, which we will cover later. Let's try taking the same examples from before and conjugating them to the polite negative form. So we first conjugate to the negative same as before, ending up with 元気じゃない、可愛くない、良くない。Then we just append des to the end. That's it. 元気じゃないです。可愛くないです。良くないです。To illustrate, here's another quick dialogue in polite form. 今日の天気は良くないですね。雨は好きじゃないですか？はい、好きじゃないです。今日の天気は良くないですね。雨は好きじゃないですか？はい、好きじゃないです。You may have noticed something odd in the third sentence. In Japanese, A-san replied, yes, he doesn't like rain, while in English we would normally say, no, I don't like rain. In Japanese, yes or no answers to negative questions are more logical. For example, if you ask, is it not good in English, we say no because the answer is that it's not good. However, in Japanese, you would reply yes to the question itself in order to confirm that yes, in fact, it is not good. So in Japanese, if someone asked you, yoku nai desu ka? You would either reply, hai, yoku nai desu, to say yes, it's not good, or iie, ii desu, to say no, it's good. A bit confusing, but you just have to remember that yes or no questions are reversed when asked in the negative. In this lesson, we learned our first conjugation rules to negate nouns and adjectives. Make sure to check the video description page for the list of new vocabulary, including kanji and other useful links. In the next lesson, we will learn about the ga identifier particle to identify unknowns. Until then, see you next time.